On to the phone lines now. Already going through a few of the headlines on Vanguard. 10th NAS leadership, Tinubu Kwankwaso Paris Parliament may alter permutations. Tinubu's inheritance, any Midas touch to solving problems confronting education. That's a question you would see there as a headline on the Vanguard. After May 29, Niger Republic will defend me if President Buhari. That's what you would also see on the Vanguard. We found oil where others ran away. That's from the NNPC. You'll find out details by going on to the Vanguard newspaper. Meanwhile, let's get on to phone lines. Callers on 0817 923 0007. Again, 0817 923 0007. You can also call us up on 0817 0009. 0817 I'll say again, new callers pretty much encouraged. If you're listening and you haven't really contributed, well, now could be a perfect time to do that. You can either use the WhatsApp number or you join us on any of the social media platforms. On Facebook, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. On Twitter, Nigeria Info PH. The WhatsApp number again is 0809 030 6416. You can send in your WhatsApp messages. We go over now to RMRS. Susie's on the line. Remember, go straight to the point. 30 seconds. Be very civil. Mind your language and do not make claims to things you cannot prove. Thank you. Susie's in RMR. Good morning.
Good morning, Ifiemi.
All right, go on.
Let me reflect on the issue concerning parading of 29 youths in Onega by OSPAC. Yes, it is a particular approach. And if that approach will actually serve as a deterrent and change some of these youth minds. But one thing I also want to suggest for OSPAC and stakeholders, like me in Onega, is that we should even take a step forward to make sure that we begin a massive, radical reorientation and re-engineering of this young mind. After all the massacres that happened in Onega within 2014, 2015, 16, 17, and even the one that breaks the camel back on the 31st of January, crossing overnight, up till now, I don't think much of reorientation and re-engineering has been done, even by the multinational companies and all of that. So I believe that what OSPAC has done now, if it's anything to go by, is one way out that our youth should change their mindset. Why would people be taking Urumi? And if you go to our communities to see the way these children are constituting nuisance, they're even becoming another problem. A time bomb again.
All right, Susie, community. Thank you very much. 30 seconds of point made. Let's go over to Letambari Bori now. Letambari, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Ifiemi Andrew.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Let me look at 29 youths paraded for drug abuse. I want to commend the OSPAC for arresting these children. What I want to contribute to that is that if it were a developed country, I think these youths were supposed to be arrested, arrested to an unknown environment where they can be treated very well, so that at the end of the day, when they live there, they will never go back to that drug abuse again. I think I want to urge the state government to take absolute responsibility of these boys to see that they are being treated to the extent that they can never come back to that or test that drug again.
Okay.
Then secondly, the idea of a refinery being commissioned by the president, I see that this refinery is supposed to accrue more dividends and way forward to Nigerians. But the disadvantage in it is that federal government themselves are failing to carry out the maintenance, the turnaround maintenance on the government-owned refineries in this country.
All right, Letambari, we have to move on now to Mount 3. Chimenem is on the line. Thank you very much. Chimenem, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew, my friend. Yes, what is Chimenem? Yes, let me comment on the second Niger bridge by Mr. President. I think that is a laudable project. But I think we must understand that we are run by indigenization policy in Nigeria. And by virtue of that indigenization policy, we must equally understand that the people of Anambra deserve to bear the name. I have never seen where a president will do such a project and is on seat and will decide to name that bridge. It is called for Second Niger Bridge, and we have the likes of some that who have equally done well. There are a lot of people in Anambra, the doings of Nigerian politics, domiciled here in Anambra, who would have been named. That bridge would have been named before them. Instead of saying Buhari Niger Bridge, these are the problems that we keep. It's like, what is going on? Can you do that in the north? I think we must learn how to. We have known that it's under his administration. Why name it after him? I think it's unnecessary. And I think that should be reflected in other states. There are people who have done well in politics and in other strata in life. I think there are people who have performed veritably well in Anambra. So they should name them after that bridge. Or even name it Anambra Second Bridge. It will not fall. It is unnecessary. We like praising ourselves. It's like your topic this morning. Humility, when you begin to exercise the kind of, and I'm sure it is over various measures, those in government, it is unnecessary, for God's sake. And that of the injunction in River State by Supreme Court. It is the urban planning laws permit the governor to do the needful. There are areas today designated houses that have been there for millions of years that are undeveloped. The governor has every right by urban planning town laws. And I think Supreme Court should do the needful. Not only there are a lot of ungovernable spaces that have been undeveloped. So for me, let the AG of the state argue it out. It does not matter when that injunction is.
All right, Chimanim, thank you very much. Let's go to Stanley now. Stanley, good morning.
Yeah, Ifiemi, good morning.
You're welcome.
I want to talk about NNPC, talking about that where they discovered oil that others run away. Ifiemi, I want to say this morning that you see, everything about this Buhari's government for 8 years was all about sentiment and nepotism. They were busy wasting our money in looking for oil in areas where there's no oil, areas like Borno State. For 8 years, this wasted our money. Look at, for 8 years, we cried that Buhari should construct or reconstruct the East-West Road, the One station, and they could not do it. Even when Buhari ordered NNPC to reconstruct that road, not them. They were busy. The money was there. Instead, they decided to use the money to look for oil. For 8 years, Buhari killed other person's business. He killed Ibeto business, and today, his brother, Dangote, is the only one that has cement business in this country. Dangote is the only one that has
I think quickly, Stanley,
functional refinery.
It will be out of...
refinery is dead.
Stanley.
Nepotism, and he's talking about going back to Niger Republic.
Right.
What is he insinuating? Is it that he's from Niger Republic?
All right, Stanley, thank you very much.
God is watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanley. But quickly, I think it's out of place to say that the president killed Ibeto's business. Only Ibeto can say if it was the president that killed his business or not. All right, there are policies that are made for every business person in the country. If at all those policies affected anyone's business, it's the federal government's policy, not President Buhari, that you would say killed a person's business. But if that was the case, then the owner of the business would be the best person to say that, unless you are saying you had a conversation with him and he told you this is what happened. Otherwise, please, such comments would not be encouraged. Blessed is in Alu. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother Ifiemi Andrew.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
What Nigeria is expecting from the Dangote refinery after commissioning, we are not expecting good thing more than the somehow middle, because when you know that an individual influencer build a private refinery, what are you expecting? Check our own government-owned refinery. It has been dilapidated for years, and they have borrowed money to go and repair the 3 refineries to put it in order. What has been done? They promised us a modular refinery to create employment for the youth, but nothing has been done. If there is no competition in that particular refinery commissioned about 3 days ago, we are going to buy for more than 1,000 naira per liter. Check the other company being owned by the Dangote, either cement factory, floor 5-3 or whatever it is. So there is no competition. See how much you are buying a bag of cement now. Before, we are buying when there was competition. Rock cement is available. Eagle cement is available, including elephant cement. The price of cement was very, very low. But now...
Oh, blessed, I think you ran out of airtime. Do have a call back. Thank you. Uche Ken in Eche. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Let me look at Jehosu threatening indefinite strike. This morning I want to ask them, for where? Is it how many days of Buhari's administration to come to an end? Andrew, can you recall how many times this set of people have gone on strike without actualizing their end before calling off the strike? Both Jehosu, medical doctor, last, nothing come out. It is only having a meeting, a roundtable meeting with president. They put them on television, they will come back and tell stories. Tomorrow, they're threatening strike. They should allow us to have peace. Then finally, after May 29th, Niger Republic will defend me if, according to President Buhari, I asked him this morning, if what? For me, I have an answer to that if. If Nigeria failed to defend me, I, Mrs. Uche Ken Nduku, one of the Nigerians, will not defend him. Why will I defend him?
Well, I think he actually said what he said was if anyone moved against him. So
he has even done worse than Dezani Madeke, and he is still jubilating without finding himself in the prison. No, we will not defend him. Good morning.
All right, Ucheken, good morning. If you get the details of that, he said yesterday that the people of Niger Republic would defend him if anyone moved against him after leaving office. That's according to the details here on the Punch, the Vanguard newspaper, where you'd have that report. He said if anyone moved against him after leaving office. He also said he deliberately shut the nation's land borders to force Nigerians to patronize goods made in the country. All right, so the president that's when he said those things. He spoke at the commissioning of the new corporate. God's time is in Onelga. Good morning.
Good morning, Ifiemi Andrew.
You're welcome.
Ospak parade 29 youth in Onega. Ifiemi, you see, I am from Onega, and the rate at which youth are consuming bromine is alarming. And these same youth constitute nuisance in our various communities, whereby causing crisis. I think Onega has done well, Ospak rather has done well by parading them. But the question is now being asked, how will they be reintegrated? How will they treat them to come out of this drug abuse life? I think the multinational corporation should come into play. We have Ajib, we have LNG, we have Total EMP. They should come in so that these children can be rehabilitated and reintegrated into the society.
All right.
If you see the man that granted interview telling British corporation about how Nigerians come to UK and at the end of the day they invite their family member and have a new life. Now Nigeria, they fight Nigeria. For me, I'm not interested going there. We remain here and we change the face look of Nigeria. But for those people traveling, they should understand that UK is not just the alternative. We have US, we have Canada, we have Australia. They should look for a better place and go. I don't even see UK as a safe haven. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, God's time. Thank you very much. Some people come in for that guy for granting that interview. But then we have to also critically look at what he said, word for word, and not just out of sentiments begin to attack the man. Critically look at what he says. He did not say every Nigerian. He was just saying there are some people who use this visa and then they have an ulterior plan. But that's like an excuse, and then they do not use it for what it's meant for, and then they try to find another way. And I think the UK already had put in place certain measures now that would really curtail some of these excesses, so that visas for certain purposes would only serve those purposes and nothing more. JJ in Rumigbo, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
You're welcome.
The news you read about Billion Gilles Harry, right? That Dangote refinery may not be able to meet our demands, right?
Yes.
Dangote refinery is producing 650,000 barrels per day, right?
Of not just petrol, not just petrol.
Hello?
JJ, not just petrol.
You know what? Of petrol.
Not only petrol.
I know, all put together.
Exactly.
Fine. Now, if you calculate 650,000 barrels and divide it by, times it by 109, because a barrel in liquid or in fluid is 109 liters, right? So by the time you put it together, it will be 129,350, right? By the time you put all together, you now see that they told us that our consumption rate is 60 million liters and all those ones. No, for the figure I gave is 129,350,000, right?
Yeah.
So you put it together, you see that we are producing almost times 2 or more than times 2 of what they said we consume. Don't also forget that those that gave us this figure don't even know the actual consumption rate. So you put it together, that will be enough. But the only problem we will envisage or we will see during this whole time is the distribution problem. If you buy in Lagos, you have to transport it to Maiduguri, transport to whichever area. That will not have more cost. It means we may not sell at the same price. But government should be able to control Dangote too, so that we can know the price is producing and how much is selling. They are going to River State government saying that they are promising to give scholarship to people reading medicine and other science subjects in the Wigwe University. I would say that's just the way to go, because all those foreign scholarships to go read some of the things we can study here does not help the economy. So, Governor Wike, thank you for this promise.
Let's go over to Ichi now. Robin, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, Robin, go ahead.
On the issue of the demolition of Bayelsa property, see, sometimes when some of us talk about the excessive action of the governor of River State, people think that we don't like him. Nigeria is operating as provided in Section 14. Social democracy, social justice. We are not in military era. How do you, an elected governor, take over a property that belongs to a state like you, demolish it, and you are flagging up judges' quarter? Let me ask, in River State, is it only judges we have? Don't we have commissioners? How many houses has it built for the commissioners that are in executive? What is going on? Can you imagine the embarrassment? It's not an embarrassment, and this is a state where we have legal luminaries all crossing around the governor every day in all the functions. Don't they advise him to take some certain decision, with a soft touch? Today, look at where we are. A property of a state government, you take it over, you telling us when you called him, when you told him this, as if you are talking to a houseboy. God bless you, Ifiemi Andrew.
Alfred in Emoha, good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Let me look at Joe to embark on strike. Andrew, is a welcome development. I think what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. Last week, the resident doctors, I think they threatened on a 1-week strike, and then the government quickly implemented their demands and also asked it. So they should also look at the demands of Joe and implement it with immediate effect. Then let me also look at the Supreme Court judgment on River State building on the properties of Bayelsa State. Yes, it's a welcome development. I think that property really belongs to Bayelsa State, and their inheritance is just like a father inherit a children inheritance from their parents. So Bayelsa State inherited that place. So River State government should not bring up issues that Bayelsa State begin to look at an average Rivers man as a problem to him. So Rivers State government should leave that particular property to Bayelsa State anyhow they want to use it. Then on the case of hot pack, identifying people taking the eye, as known as Impro Mini, you see the advantage and the level of work hot pack is doing in Oba Egbema local government. Now you now ask, what is the advantage of MOV as personally organized by Chi Deloitte that is using every day in Emoha local government? Every day in Emoha, you see one problem or the other. Now you now ask, what is the advantage of these MOVs and what they are doing in Emoha local government?
All right, Alfred, thank you very much. On Facebook, quite a number of comments coming in already. We'd have time to take one more call before we go on straight to more messages on WhatsApp and Facebook. On Facebook, at Taisi Theophilus says, I guess there's something between President and Niger Republic that most Nigerians don't know. Uche Ken has just inferred. Inferred what? Godwin Felix, a monopolistic economy. All right, at Thank God Ability, what UK did is like a landlord telling his tenant not to bring in any of his family members into the compound to live. This is a wake-up call to our so-called leaders. Lorenzo Delight says inauguration and scholarship award of scholarship to students of Wigwe University by Governor Wike is a good one. OSPAC, a number using naming and shaming style to parade youth, it's a good one. Only Dagnotary refinery can't meet our consumption demands. Gino Brabraye Karibo says we must hold our political leaders accountable regardless of their party affiliation. Blind loyalty. Okay. Clever Sonny says Supreme Court stopping Governor Wike from building on Bayelsa property in River State is a welcome development. Imo Dan says relocating refinery to Lagos is somehow and should be investigated. Oil producing states should not remain beggars for job opportunities. Imo Dan. Obiajunwan says Nigerians will defend me if anyone moves against me leaving office. Niger. He says Niger. President Barry, for me, I would say no one will move against him because he has tried. Well, why would the president assume or think that anyone would move against him and nobody would know? But that was the comment he implied, that if anyone moves against him. Another thing is, I think another thing largely would be to even look at the context in which he said what he said. He might not have really meant that seriously, but then we wouldn't know. Would have to go perhaps watch him. It's almost like when Tinubu said what he said while he was here in River State about I owe you nothing, lobby me, and everybody started giving different interpretations and to it. So it's just some of that one of those kind of situations. King Boy Anna Ogu says Mr. President Buhari said after May 29 Nigeria Republic will defend him if anyone moves against him. Well, no wonder. There's a rail line and refineries, and why is refused to do such in his country? Well, I wouldn't say the federal government had decided to do these rail lines because the reason was for economic importance, was said by the. Well, people would question what sort of economic relationship does Nigeria and Niger have? What sort of trade do we involve in that would require that? That might be a question, but the excuse that was given was for economic reasons. It doesn't make sense to give scholarships to private university students whose parents can already afford it. Government should channel those scholarships to students in public universities. Since Governor Wike goes around fulfilling his promises to communities, it will be so nice of him to commission a promotion of pay rise promised to River civil servants. Victor from Egbema sent in that one on WhatsApp. This one says Supreme Court stopped demolition by state property in River State. Welcome development. This is open on Sunday. This one says I agree with Petron. My concern also is whether NNPC Limited would meet up the supply of crude to Dangote. Well, Dangote is also not just looking to get crude locally; they are sourcing crude internationally as well. People complain about President naming Niger Bridge after his name. I want to ask them what was their reaction when Wike named Law Center after his wife. Good morning. Released from detention. The drama is probably over. The police may have found the intensity of slap in Sheldon's house. God bless the Federal Republic. Oh my goodness, some people just being hilarious now. Naming the second Niger bridge after PMB has become a major issue for some Nigerians. We should forget about sentiments and make use of the bridge. On Twitter too, a few comments coming in. I will take a look at them now. Remember, it's Nigeria Info 92.3 on Nigeria Info PH on Twitter. I beg your pardon. Nigeria Info PH on Twitter. This one says, good morning. Nigerians would defend me if anyone moves against me after leaving office. President Buhari, for me, I would say, not Nigerians, Niger. It says Niger, not Nigerians. But then I'm pretty sure that there are people in Nigeria that will defend the president. That's why I said it's only imperative that you really look at the whole context of what he was saying. On Twitter, at Tango that One says, high rate of drugs in our communities calls for concerns. Many guys don't they use okay. The underscore great pundit says Supreme Court injunction stopping Rivers government from developing Bielsa property is in order. At Lorenzo Delight says commissioning of, okay, I think we took this on WhatsApp already. Skillful underscore Piro on Twitter says Ospak Parade 29 youth in Omok over drug abuse. Welcome call. At Chris Nonso1 on Twitter says please. At Christie says the high increase of drug consumption in the state is becoming alarming. At Emilka Monday says I learned in school that proximity to raw materials should be considered before citing industry. Dangote refineries in Lagos taught me a different lesson. Well, that's the much we can take this morning on the newspaper review. Thank you for your contributions and your time. The news at 7, business news, comes up shortly.
Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nation.